There are times in your life that you may be faced with tough decisions. This is not one of them. It's that time, just in time for a fresh batch of cookies out of the oven. Lace up your trousers and get ready for some jokes. From Los Angeles, California, it's the Brian Crow Show. Bow, bitches.
Much for tuning in to what is the season finale of the Brian. That's woo!
I am the Robin Quivers of this episode, by the way.
So I can
the voice of God.
So I can say anything and you'll just laugh because.
No, Brian.
Oh, it's so funny. Anyway, so
that's my God voice.
So thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Brian Crow Show. I am your host, Brian Crow, and so let's talk about. What is this year been for you? We're coming down to the end of the year. Let's talk about what has this year been about for you. Has it been everything that you wanted it to be? Is it going to resolve into something that you wanted? Or are you simply teeing up something for next year? We're coming down into that part of the year, and I thought it would be important to actually bookend this season closing out in the same way that I opened it with Mr. Patrick Estrada.
Hello.
And Miss Caitlin Kajepis, whose name... no, look, I'm sorry, but... no, look, it's really simple.
That's how I say
If you ever get pulled over at a DUI web site, you just say your own last name, they're going to think you're drunk.
Kazepis.
Yeah. Well, I think it's Greek, so I think it was shortened. I think it was actually like.
But what is it?
But
what is your last name though?
Kazepis. Actually, it's simpler than you think, but people always pronounce it as cat's piss, which is makes it a little difficult.
That must have been fun in school.
Dude, first day of 5th grade, Mrs. Zeff.
Knew we had something here.
I was in a class with like 20 boys and like 3 girls. Tough enough.
Sounds like a gangbang. Anyway, what?
Boom.
Right. So, emotionally, yeah, absolutely. So Mrs. Zeff is call and roll, and she gets down to my name. She goes, Kitlin Cat's Piss? It was, like, hilarious to everybody. And I'm
because whose name is actually Cat Piss, right?
Right.
Way to go, 30-year-old douchebag.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, she was like, in her 40s. She was
Thanks
angry.
for earning your pension, bitch.
Well,
Yeah.
by lunchtime, the boys had come up with a nickname, and it was dog shit. And then they found out, like, within the week that both of my parents are special ed teachers, so it was dog shit short bus. And then I decided to fight back.
Transfer schools.
And they learned I started arm wrestling for lunch money. And I could just kick the shit out of them. I slammed everybody. And it was kind of a hustle, right? And then they started setting it up. I didn't pay for lunch.
Really?
For like, seriously? Dude, look at that.
Oh, she got guns.
Yeah, don't test that.
I heard the fabric of that shirt start to rip when she did that. I'm not kidding. I heard like
Hulking up
stitches.
here so I can go stalk Mr. Clement later. We discuss
my
this.
stalker.
So,
Anyway, Kitty became Kitty.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the nickname. So, Kitty's got claws. I fought back.
Now I'm afraid because I'm sitting next to you.
You should be.
That's cool.
And so you are Mr. Stephen Clement. Yes.
Sean Clement.
Sean Clement.
Yeah.
Who's
Sean.
Why don't we have him
I have
on?
a cousin named Stephen. So
Do you?
It's cool. It's cool.
I knew that.
I love it.
No,
Everyone
It's been
knows
a long
Steven.
week. It's been a
just
long
means
year.
that I can't read. And you are actually a rather phenomenal composer. I was on your website earlier and listening to...
Stalking. It's contagious.
I was actually listening to music. If you were stalking, that's between the two of you and off air, 911, maybe.
No, it's cool. It's legalized now. We confirmed it.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Thanks to
verbalized
Facebook
it.
and
It's,
Twitter, you can safely stalk from a distance.
it's condoned stalking.
Yeah.
Which isn't stalking.
Consensual
it's
stalking.
Fandom. Yes, consensual stalking.
Consensual stalking.
And
Like, I'm gonna allow you to stalk me to a certain degree. Like,
Yes.
yeah, that's what
Exactly.
Facebook,
I
Twitter,
think that's
Instagram
I
is.
think that's a good modern term.
But so you are actually a rather
Consensual stalking.
phenomenal composer. What have you? How'd that happen?
I have no idea.
Oh, good.
Yeah. No, it just happened.
All right, so no, it didn't. Bullshit. I'm sorry. I'm not going to let you get off with it. It just happened. What? Because, I woke up one morning and I just was a composer. Bullshit. So
Mozart said that. Mozart and Clement, both of them.
All right, bullshit on you too.
Wow.
They start off with a harmonica, a violin, a piano, a drum,
rectum flute. Anyway,
rectum flute,
cowbell.
No, I mean, in all legitimacy. So, I know that you studied at Berkeley, yes?
Yeah.
And that is Berkeley, not Berkeley, California, but Berkeley, the Berkeley School
Boston,
of Music, where musicians go to
no relations,
amazing.
no, or as my grandfather would say, no elations.
Yes,
no relations. No, but even before Berkeley, I was already gigging and doing stuff. No, I was a kid, and I bought a record called Led Zeppelin 4.
Okay.
Who hasn't done that? And I said, "Shit, this is what I got to do. I gotta be a musician."
Okay.
I was 12, and so I was by the time I was 13, I was making a living as a musician.
Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah.
So how were you making a living as a musician at 13? What were you doing?
Well, playing guitar in bands.
What kinds of bands? More specifics.
Well, at 13, it was just like, cover bands and stuff, and I was doing like clubs, and I actually played a lot of strip clubs, and back then it was kind of interesting because, I'm an older cat, so,
sure.
And so they would have to keep me.
So you could be a 13-year-old in a strip club and it was cool. As long as you turned away.
They had to hide me in a room.
Turn the corner.
Yeah. And pull me out,
Nice.
Yeah. And, I'm a dwarf. So, and that's how it started.
How did you get that gig? Did you walk into strip club with a guitar like, I can play for you?
Well, no, I don't know how it happened. I just started playing with people, and I always play with older people, and at the time, older men.
Well, you were. I was going to say you were 12. Everybody was older than you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm a child. No, it just was crazy, and I never went to school. I kept skipping school all the time, and I would skip all my classes. But there was the high school band leader or whatever you call him, and he would cover for me because I would just do all the jazz band arrangements and big band. So I would hang out because you get home from a gig at 3 a.m. I'm not going to school at 7. Screw that,
I agree completely.
Even at 13, sleep. Hello, dude.
Who wants social studies at 7 o'clock after you've been jiving on that?
But so what was that like? I mean, being a young teen. We're talking early teens, nearly just becoming
your
a teen.
pubes just popped out,
and yet you are
literally. Although I was born a chiphead, so.
But you were a working musician, something that actually exist in a very limited way today. What was that like for you to be that person?
It was weird. I don't know. It was I don't know. Just I'm a normal kid. Just
No, you were not a normal kid. That's my point.
74, 75.
I'm that old.
I'm throwing a number out there because you mentioned Led Zeppelin too, so I'm trying to guess.
See, man,
4. Led Zeppelin 4.
I got a senior discount at a hotel, by the way. No, we're talking 86.
86. Oh, so okay.
84.
So let me ask you guys.
I was born in back then. So I'm
perspective.
Yeah.
So
I know nothing about sports, by the way. So we say varsity.
I know nothing about music and timeline. That's why I was okay.
So let me ask you guys, because part of the whole thing with and sort of bookending this show with the first show of this season of mine, what has 2014 so far, as we are wiping it out, what has it meant to you? What has happened? What has this year been like for you? You go first.
That's me?
Yeah, you first.
Well, you talked about teeing off, it's like doing a setup. I feel like I've been setting up my life for, as long as what am I? 22?
Are you asking me or are you telling me?
Okay, I've got a joke, and I want to say it on air.
All right.
This has been the year of the joke for Caitlin. I am a joke. I live a joke.
Caitlin's
Everything's a joke. Ask me how old I am.
How old are you?
23, but I'm a little dyslexic. Ask me how old I'm going to be on my birthday.
How old are you going to be on your birthday?
33, but I'm a little dyslexic. So that was the year of the dyslexic joke for me. That's really what this year's been. And some other stuff, like getting ready to shoot my film, putting up a Kickstarter that is stressful.
As you tiptoe over this, I'm getting ready to shoot my film. Let's talk about your film for a moment. So, fake. Don't give me the false humility.
My mom, my mom said subtlety's a virtue, and I think humility goes in there too.
From what you've told me about your mom, there's no virtue involved. Anyway, I'm sorry, you were saying what?
Mom, not
Apple
true.
Tree.
I just totally made that shit up. Caitlin's mom, I'm sure you're wonderfully awesome. You should meet my mom, and you can go. Our kids are so fucked up.
I've talked to your mom on the phone.
Yeah.
She called in when we did our, I guess, was that the first episode of the season?
Yeah, I was one of them. But.
Yeah. So I wrote a film. I've written a lot of stuff. I've got a couple TV shows, a couple feature films that I want to do. And
enough about your resume. How about the pipeline? Is it the pipeline?
Yes.
It is the pipeline.
The pipeline is what we're teeing up for now. It's a short film. It'll be a feature length. It is about two girls.
I love it when women say that. It's going to be feature length. I just have to make that. Oh. Sorry. What?
Yeah, my film's going to be feature length. So, yeah.
Deep and penetrating?
It's a grower.
Yes. Not a shower. It's a grower. Yes.
Yeah, well, it grows and then I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
But, so basically I did a Kickstarter to do this short film. We've got unbelievable cast and talent attached.
So what is it about?
It's about two girls who...
I like it already.
Yeah.
who get to know each other again. They reconnect. Yeah. They're basically a girl, her father dies, and she's left a trust fund, and it's to her and the name of another woman. She's like, who the hell is this other woman? And she tracks me down, and I tell her this story about how I grew up, and we figure out our connection. And it's based on true events around the building of the oil pipeline in Alaska. So pipeline is literal and figurative. Absolutely.
And symbolic.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple different, symbols that you could attribute to it. However, communication pipeline, technology pipeline. And then, of course, right now it's a pro-environment film, but I also want people to talk about fiscal responsibility, about the green movement, and how we're going to help save these ecosystems and these economies that have been based for so long on oil and on fossil fuels, and just how we need to kind of protect the people that have been in these industries and move them over. So you've got people like the Rockefellers divesting all their funding from fossil fuels right now. It's very interesting, but you can't put the cart before the horse. You need to have a plan in place. And for me, I grew up in Alaska. I understand the Native American thought process, and you compare nature to events and in your life, and you make peace with it. So there's a lot of Native American storytelling. We've got some awesome people in there, and then I've got ridiculous talent like Barry Corbin, who just No Country for Old Men, and he was in Northern Exposure, and he's on Anger Management currently. Watch on CBS with Charlie Sheen. That guy's crazy.
Yeah, you betcha.
Yeah, and then I've got Timothy Quill, who played the blacksmith in Army of Darkness.
Love that guy.
We've got some connections. Ted Raimi is interested in being in, so I'm very excited about that. And we just attached a consulting producer by the name of Tim Zimmerman. Big, huge heartbeat for him. He was a producer. Yes, thank you. He's a producer and writer on Blackfish, the documentary about orcas in captivity.
Right.
So he's big on the you're nodding. So it's not just about shut down SeaWorld, they're evil. It's about our responsibility on the large level to our environment and to ourselves as people, and kind of making a society that can sustain life without poverty and without killing our resources. So that's this is small stuff, and then it's female fronted, female written, and
so it's you and who else is
Alexis Iacono, my producing partner.
Yes, and we're going to talk about her for a moment because she was supposed to be here tonight and she backed out. So
what? That's right, she was supposed to be here tonight.
Yeah. So
what happened?
Well, I told her I didn't want her on because Brian was my friend and I wanted to be on his show. So that's fine.
Sorry, Alexis.
I am Caitlin
Caitlin.
Yep. On the Brian Crow Show. So there. No, really. But yeah, so Son of a Biscuit Productions. This is our first big hurrah, and building my company with the Alley Cat Hour and XI Radio. That was kind of my first step into producing shows and doing stuff, and I'm really excited. And we have like less than 40 hours. Like we have 40 hours left on our Kickstarter.
It's gonna happen.
So, if one were to go to Kickstarter, and well, you should, how would they find a place to?
How do you do it?
Yeah.
We have our domain name tied to our Kickstarter, so you can either go to www.thepiplinefilm.co, or you can go to Kickstarter and then just in the search bar put Pipeline, and it's like there are 3 or 4 projects that have that in the title, but we're the only one that says The Pipeline by Caitlin Kazepis. So. The
Pipeline. So go donate. You know,
thank you.
And
do it before Saturday morning.
Yeah, do it tonight. Do it now.
Oh, look, we put it up. We've got a runner now, right there. The Pipeline Film.
There you go. It's right up there. So, you know, all of us that listen to and watch the show, and everybody involved here, we're all very interested in moving the arts forward. And here's a point that you can actually be involved with that and do something to make a project move forward that actually matters and actually means something. There's a great story to be told, being told by a great artist. And so get the fuck off the couch.
Exactly.
Just open up another browser window right here. You can do it as we talk. I'll see it.
You can actually become a producer.
Yeah.
Because that's what a producer is. You give money to a film and then you do nothing.
Yeah.
That's exactly. Everyone gets to be a producer on this film.
Yeah. Be a producer.
So help produce this film, because it is a story that needs to be told and deserves to be told and will be told gloriously. And then the next time they do a movie, they'll cast me in it. Anyway.
Absolutely. Well, that's the point of a. That's
so bullshitting.
Right? No, but that's why people do short films. It's kind of a, it's like a resume. It's like a little, sneak peek of what you're capable of as an artist making films. And I'm taking this to all the major film festivals. That's the point, is to get the short film into film festivals, get it seen, so that people can see what I can do. And it's like an artistic striptease. And then if you want to buy into that, you get the whole enchilada.
I just woke up. She said striptease.
Excuse me, what?
There's a striptease in this one? What
Hold
happened?
it.
All right, fun.
Wind back.
Artistic.
Yes.
Autistic
metaphorical.
stripteasing? What is that, like, really intense?
It's
like,
an intellectual
She takes off her bra and she
striptease.
folds it specifically and puts it in the corner.
I was actually reading something earlier, earlier this evening, that in fact the film Saw, which is of course has spawned the multiple sequels, etc. But Saw,
Carrie Elways.
yes,
I know him.
was originally done as something very similar. In fact, it was originally done as a short, and people looked at it and went, "Oh shit, this is really cool."
I want to see more.
Because you could have done that movie in 10 minutes.
No, not even. But they shot enough to grab the interest of people's imagination, and as a result of that, we've got that series. And if you still go back and forget the fact that the series of Saw is overall it's crap.
It's not terrible.
It's not terrible.
It's not good.
But if you take a look at the first one,
it was good.
The first one is awesome.
Yes.
It is Seven meets the Usual Suspects.
Yeah, it was psychological thriller aspect.
Completely.
I love that.
No, in fact, I always find it amazing when people talk about the first Saw movie and it's like, it was so bloody. Really? Did you watch the movie? Because you don't see a damn thing.
Yeah. Which is what I like. I can't, like Alexis Iacono has done a number of horror films, and there's some beautiful stuff in horror, but I cannot handle it. I have to watch. I'm a huge Hitchcock. He's my birthday twin.
Yeah.
So, and we share love for Bernard Herrmann, which is he's the composer that worked with Hitchcock.
She's like
not only Hitchcock, but also like the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad.
Yeah.
Another tremendous sound. In fact, I think that Bernard Herrmann, his use of it's not the oboe.
You're thinking about Jason and the Argonauts.
No.
No.
But Bernard Herrmann's use of the lower.
He used this weird
bassoon, maybe.
Yeah, it was a weird instrument actually. It had a weird name. Sounded like a fucking mule.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Genius.
Jason and the Argonauts. Yeah.
Yes. And Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, and even Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
Although Taxi Driver was more.
There's a lot of history behind that. That was his last gig.
That was, in fact,
really?
In fact, at the end of the movie,
the night of the last session. Yeah.
No, in fact, it's dedicated to him. So that soundtrack and a lot of use of low end cello, things like that. Just stunning work. Stunning. So Bernard Herrmann. So
he got one Oscar and used to use it as a doorstop.
Did he?
Yeah, that's
that I did not know.
Use it as a doorstop. Yeah.
So let's talk about you, sir, Mr. Musician.
Yeah, he does. He dabbles in it. Whatever.
Oh, he doesn't dabble.
Right?
I was on your website. That is, if that's dabbling, I dabble in masturbation. So,
right on, dude.
Yeah.
And we've all seen his palms, so we know.
I'm a master at that shit. Anyway, I'm sorry.
God, you got the palms of a chia pet, so we know.
So, seriously. I was on your website and I listened to the stuff. I mean, really lovely, lovely, atmospheric work.
Thank you.
I was listening to it, and mind you, God, my boss isn't listening because he'll know that I wasn't working. I was in my office and checking out your website.
Masturbating.
And yes, no,
masturbating to the website.
That was after that.
Okay.
So basically,
I was about to say that mood music.
You were the warm up.
Oh, that's weird.
Aside from that, God damn it, people, really.
Dude, the artistic striptease, he was the artistic fluffer.
You guys need to get laid.
I think we could all check that box if I'm every single person in this room.
Wow. Says the guy who dresses up for a living. Anyway,
yeah. You ever heard of furries?
As I was saying at some point earlier,
Sorry.
What year is it now? Okay. So anyway, the stuff that I was listening to was, again, it set a stage. I didn't know what it was for.
Okay.
And that was one of the things that I really enjoyed about it, was that, you know what? I didn't know what this piece of music that I was listening to, what it was about, what it was set up for.
Where it was going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
it's cool.
It was lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What is the website, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah.
My website is clemistry.com.
Clemistry.com.
There it is.
Nice. CLEMISTRY.
So when was the point that you discovered that music was your thing?
Well, when I was a kid, like I said.
Be more specific.
Okay, you sound like my lawyer.
Yes.
I'm on the stand. Shit, I just did this last week.
Sit up straight and tell me what it is you are thinking.
No.
Tell us what you're thinking.
When I just started playing at 12 and then working at 13, it was like, that was it. It's like, this is it. This is what I'm going to do.
What were you playing at that time?
Guitar. I'm a guitar player.
Okay.
And
tell him how many guitars you have.
Well, I have a shitload.
But amazing. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I've been pretty fortunate to get to meet a lot of people throughout the years and get to know a lot of people. So.
Like who?
Do some name dropping. Do it.
No, this is an invitation to drop names.
All right, so I have a prototype Les Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only a couple of prototypes. I got one. I have Les Paul's B3. I have his Les Paul. I have his, so, I have a lot of weird shit like that. No, but I mean, it was kind of like you just kind of hit it and you go, this is what I got to do. And it's like, you don't ask for it. It just happens, and from that moment on, boom.
I've described it this way more than once. It's like getting crabs and going, no, it's okay. I'm fine with it itching.
Yeah. No, I don't know, man. I mean, and it was like,
all right.
No, it's crazy. I mean, just but I got into film music really early because I was into so much music at the same time.
So, was there something about film that attracted you? Was there?
Yeah.
So, what was that?
All right. So, I'm a child of the '80s, basically.
Yeah, you and me both.
That's we came to age in the '80s.
Yeah.
And a lot of dudes wearing makeup and wearing spandex, and I'm like going, that ain't gonna happen. I mean, I said this earlier. I'm fucking dressed like this is what I dress like, So
I said casual.
And I'm like going, I ain't doing that shit. I'm not putting makeup on. It ain't gonna fucking happen. So, and I'm into so many different things. I'm like going, I got no shot, man. Because how am I gonna make a living doing music and not looking good, So
sure.
So film music was really attractive because you could do all this cool stuff and nobody has to see you. You can be locked in a room. I didn't know there were cameras here today, so it's kind of freaking me out. But you can be locked in a room, do all this crazy shit, and it's cool. And that's kind of what really drew me to that world. However, I had to go through that first childhood phase of,
sure,
and I did a stint, playing with B.B. King and people like that.
Oh, wait a minute. So you toss this off. It's sort of like going. It's like
I had to earn some chops, playing with BB King.
Oh, I played with BB King like it was nothing. So you played with BB King?
Yeah, when I was like 17.
Okay. Tell me about that,
things
please.
Changed a lot for me.
So tell me about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I was in Chicago, and I started meeting all these kind of cats, and I got to know like everybody.
Because Chicago has a very, very
huge.
My family's from Chicago, so I get the blues scene there.
But it wasn't a blues thing because I wasn't really a blues guy. I was just a guy,
right?
know? But I think maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm hermaphrodite. Does that exist? I haven't found my vagina yet, but maybe I have one. But,
well, the night is young. So,
no,
really explore more.
I happened to be there for a NAMM show back then. He used to do these big NAMM shows in Chicago.
Yeah. The Summer NAMM.
Right, but they used to be huge. I mean, they were bigger than the Anaheim shows. And I just happened to be there, and I just started hooking up with dudes because I would, as a kid, you have no fear, so you go do crazy shit. And next thing you know, I'm playing with people like Eddie Van Halen and Neil Schon and Steve Howe and BB King. And,
so
it literally happened in 4 days.
Let's put the brakes on here just a little bit. I'm sorry. So I played with BB King, Eddie Van Halen, Neil Schon, Steve Howe. Thank you.
A lot more, but it just and they're like
more than anything else. What was that like for you? Seriously,
it was cool.
It was cool.
Okay, he's all right. Let me tell you just real quickly. I go to an award show with him, and he's like, the red carpet, whatever. And then he gets on there, and he's all blue steel for the camera. I'm like, you are so full of. And then we get in there. He's nominated. They play one of his songs, and then he knows the accordion player. Who knows an accordion player? This guy. Oh yeah, we jammed, whatever. And then he comes over our table. Everybody wants to shake his hand. And this guy right now is being considered for not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6. I don't have enough fingers. 12 Grammys.
Yeah, kind of weird.
12 Grammys. And tell him.
Kind of weird.
It's cool, whatever.
I keep giving these envelopes at my house with these like Grammy things on them. Like, oh look, another one.
So who are you meeting next week?
My all-time idol.
Neil Diamond.
Do they have a name?
Yeah, it's Jimmy Page.
Whoa! The fuck out of here!
I know.
And I've met everybody, but that's like the dude.
Oh yeah, that is the dude.
Oh, actually, no, I know the dude.
The dude abides.
I know the dude. I know the dude. I'm friends with the dude. Jeff Dowd, he's my buddy. But I don't know Jimmy Page.
Wow.
That's like, that's it. That's for me. That's it. I've literally met everybody, but that's like, the one.
So where do you come by this level of humility? Because it's remarkable. It really is.
This is a troll sitting next to me. I'm a chia pet. That's why.
No, you're not. You're somebody who has actually achieved something, and clearly. This was not by accident. So as much as I admire your humility about your station and what it is that you have done.
Station, good word.
Thank you.
I like that. That's cool, dude.
You have done a great deal. You truly have.
He's the slut of the music world.
Thank you.
You whore.
No,
wait a minute.
I'm a whore.
Prostitute. He did it for money. Looks like a call girl, I guess.
Can we get that?
Yeah. Call girl Clement.
Dude.
So how do you think that happened?
I know how this one happened. But,
okay.
I don't know. Just
yeah, you do. Don't lie to me.
Well, I can't tell the details, but it just no. I mean, one of the records I did this year, which is a crazy, stupid record, like totally artistic, like it made like 10 cents. Thank you.
What's it called? All records make 10 cents right now.
Raw Fungus.
What?
Raw Fungus.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Self-explanatory. No, but Gibson was really cool. They did a record release party for me. It was really cool, and all this kind of stemmed from that. And I ended up in a room playing Liberace's piano for a while because I also do that.
There was playing Liberace's piano. That's because Because that happens to all of us, right?
Yeah.
I woke up and it's like, what was over there? Oh, look. Oh, there's a piano in my house. When did the piano show up? I don't know. Whose piano is it? Oh, it's Liberace's piano.
That's that guy. He likes pianos everywhere.
And I have a collection of Gibsons that's insane. Like, I don't know how I got half of these things, but like,
how many guitars do you have? How many?
Roughly 60, but
roughly 60.
But you know, that's like
asking.
Jimmy has 2,500, so yeah.
That's like asking a girl how many like guys she slept with. She's gonna be like 3.
But they're looking at they're looking at. I only brought like 8 Gibsons to the thing.
To know.
And they're actually looking at the guitars, going, "How do you have that? How do you have that? How do you have that?" You know, and it's like, and everything has a story, and it was all just, I don't know.
So if you were to pick one guitar and one great story, what would that be?
Wow.
Good question.
Great guitar. Well, I have a favorite guitar.
Yeah. So what's your favorite guitar?
It's not a Gibson. I'm sorry. And
That's
they're probably
okay.
gonna like kill me right now.
Fuck it. They're probably not watching. If they do, I'd love a Gibson. I had one. And long story. Anyway.
I have a 1960 Dan Electro.
Yeah.
I got it. I was a kid working at my dad's music shop.
Your dad had a music shop.
We'll get to that
in a moment.
And
it gets deeper.
This dude walks in, and it's called the 59 DC, but it's a 1960, so it gets confusing, you know. And it's, you know, it's like when you see Jimmy Page playing White Summer.
Sure.
That's the guitar, you know. And I'm like going, you know, it's like, whoa, you know, original case, original everything, and like I'm like, holy shit, you know, I've always wanted one of these, and all he wanted was like, I don't know, some guitar strings. And so, you know,
so why
I stole that fucking thing.
Why is that guitar your favorite?
I don't know. It just plays great. To me, it sounds great. Intonation sucks. It doesn't stay in tune. It's built like shit. But when you crank it through like a old, you know, Plexi Marshall head,
right?
Which I have several. It sounds like a Zeppelin record. You know? You know, I'm a Zepp head.
Of course it does.
I'm a Zepp head, you know. And like, it's like everything. And when I first came to LA, I would show up at sessions as a session guitar player. I'd show up with that thing. They're going, "What the fuck is that?" I said, "Trust me, it's gonna be cool."
And then you plugged in. They went, "Holy shit!"
Yeah,
right.
Noisy as fuck. You got to do all kinds of. Don't worry, it's gonna be rocking. I'm telling you, it's gonna rock your world. You know. So there you go. That's that story. That's my favorite guitar.
No, I have a similar thing. I was doing a record with I was in a metal band called Red Satyr. And for whatever reason, Bobby Hart was the producer on it.
Okay.
Right. So why Bobby Hart, who wrote for the Monkees and wrote "Hurt So Bad" for Linda Ronstadt, why he was producing a metal record, I will never be able to figure out. But so we're doing it, and so I show up to do the guitars, and I show up with my amp and a 112 speaker cabinet, and the engineer's going, "There's no way this 112. We need a 412." I'm like, "No, mic that fucker up." And it was like, he goes, "Oh, okay, we're fine." So I totally get where it's like everybody looks at you and goes, "This is not going to work," and then you go, "No, because you know better."
Yeah.
And clearly you knew better. So
it's crazy, right?
It's amazing.
It's crazy time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm just going to prove to you what it is that I know, and I don't care what history you have. I just
Yeah. You know, it's crazy shit. You know, I have a friend that I met recently for the last couple of months, really good buddies, and when he first met, I had this like beat up fucking ovation, right? Mm-hmm. You know, it's a 12-string, but I string it as a 6 because that's how I am.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh no, this guy can't fucking play. He's got a fucking cheap ass ovation, right?" And then he figured it out because it works. You know, if it works, man. You know, and you know, I play the fuck out of that thing. You know?
Yeah, no, I tell the girls all the time, if it works, it works.
Rules, in fact, one of my favorite. I believe that rules are meant to be broken.
They have to be broken.
Yeah, in fact, bring them to me, and I'm like, I'm gonna find a way around this bullshit.
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah. Dude.
Rules.
Yeah.
So, but you were also saying, so your dad owned a music store?
Yeah, he still does.
I guess my point being is that you really come from music. This is...
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Yeah, my dad's a musician. I mean, okay, this is crazy story. Crazy story.
Go for it, man.
And if
his dad and Elvis and the Beatles were playing in a bar one night.
Right. Okay, you want
just
to
happened.
hear
It's
some
cool.
really
It's cool, whatever.
trippy shit.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Then my godfather Jim
trippy
Morrison
shit.
walks in.
Trippy shit is good.
So, okay, my dad grew up in Hopedale, Bancroft Park.
I knew
Okay.
it.
Where is that?
Here it goes.
The middle of shit nowhere. I mean, that's
Well,
Oh,
what's
I've been there.
it's outside of Boston.
Okay.
I grew up in Milford. That's the next door town.
gotcha? All right,
His next door neighbor was Joe Perry.
get the fuck out.
Yeah, my dad's a little bit older.
Oh, so wait, when I was talking about how much I love Steven Tyler, you're like, yeah, I know him. I
And
thought,
so
really?
Joe used to go to my dad's house, and I have pictures of Joe in my dad's kitchen with a crew cut. My dad gave me guitar lessons, and Joe bought his
my
Starfire
God.
6 Guild off my dad's first music store, right?
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah. And
There you go.
And my aunt, and I shouldn't say this. Well, whatever. She used to beat him up on the way home from high school. I'll leave the other part out. So I've been attached to them for a long time, and I used to have a girlfriend, and Brad Whitford was fucking her, and all this kind of shit, and that was a nightmare. Anyway.
What this way?
Yeah.
Aerosmith, man.
So,
Nice.
I don't really know Steven at all, but anyway.
But he might know you.
Well, maybe. So
His girlfriend did.
So okay, so you flip back all these years later,
Taste that?
and this whole Warriors hymn that I did, this march that I recorded. Here I am working with Jack Douglas, one of the greatest producers in the world,
Sure.
ever.
Yeah.
And dear friend and like amazing person. And so he was telling me about the story how he got assigned basically Aerosmith. He goes, yeah, man, I had to go to this town called Upton, and like Upton's like
I've heard of that
towns
town.
from there, right?
I've heard of that
So
town.
I'm telling him my story. It's like, how in the hell does that happen? It's like, and I came up with I grew up with a good buddy of mine's Nuno Betancourt, who
Get the fuck out. Nuno is like I've never met Nuno, but I'm a I'm a fan of Nuno.
Lifelong friends.
Really, I'm sycophantic about Nuno.
In fact, his Halloween party got canceled because of rain.
And by the way,
so bummed out.
just so you guys know, Nuno Betancourt is the guitar player for the band Extreme, and very responsible for writing number one, what I think is a phenomenal song that is so maligned and made fun of, which is More Than Words. It was the song that basically made Extreme, and the guy's and there's a dog licking my hand. Amazing guitar player, and not just, we're talking on the Eddie Van Halen, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani level, just phenomenal stuff. And
we grew up together, and
really,
so and like Halloween night, like he had to cancel the party last minute because it was raining and stuff, and so we're hanging out. We're at his house. He's like, "Man, I'm so sorry, dude. Come back tomorrow." Right now, he's doing this weird gig. He's like with Billy Gibbons, and like they got some new band.
I know that he recently he toured with Rihanna, right? He's
still with Rihanna. I mean, but she does her thing.
Yeah, but to me, it's an amazing thing where you take a player like him that is as well versed as he is, but he's definitely, he's a guitar player.
Yeah.
And yet he's playing with Rihanna, and I guarantee you, kicking the fucking doors off, and people are going, "Who's that guitar player?"
Yeah, and
just killing it.
Here's why I'm pissed off. He still looks good.
Yeah.
Chicks dig him.
Yeah.
He's fucking ripped.
Yeah.
He's like a dude. And I'm like going, how does that fucking happen? Because we're old, man. And like, you look good. What's going on, dude? But anyway, it's not like that. But no, so that's that whole world. So that's, and and it's funny because he just posted a picture, I think, was it last night? He's with Joe Perry. Right. And and Brian May. Brian May is a big fan, and he was a Queen freak growing up, so it's cool.
No, in fact, you can hear it in the music. You can hear it in the harmonies that he would record. It's very Brian May-esque, and just So like I say, sycophantic. Hello. Hi. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, but that's
Brian totally fangirled right now.
Totally,
I know, yeah.
completely. If I could just fucking cosplay.
He just squealed.
But when I was working with Jack, it was great because like when he started talking about Aerosmith, I'm like going, dude, we gotta talk,
right?
Because like one of the first Aerosmith gigs was at the high school that my mom went to, which when I went to was a middle school, and that was my first gig because I did a prom or some kind of dance or something there, and Aerosmith's name is still carved in the wall.
So there was something in the water in that neighborhood, apparently.
Okay,
Weird.
so move there and procreate if you must
Here we
procreate.
are working in the studio
move there.
together. I'm like going, this is like crazy. Of course, and Jack went on, and John Lennon, The Who, small bands.
Yeah, nobody.
Yeah.
You might have heard of them.
Lennon, the Who.
They made a few records.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the whole thing was like, it's all been like a fucking crazy, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, at Disney, which I think they closed, by the way.
What?
They
They
didn't
better
close
not.
Disney. I think they closed the ride.
They better not. I'll burn that bitch
So let
down.
me ask you something. In fact, this
That's
was
my
a
rag.
topic, sort of off topic but related. This is something that I tackled a week or so ago. Is that for the first time since 1976, when the idea of the platinum album was created, this is the first year that there is no artist that is getting a platinum record.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's true.
Yes.
Wow.
The only record that has gone platinum this year, 2014, is the soundtrack for Frozen. Other than that, nope.
Yeah, it's
Way
based
to go,
on
jackasses.
Well, it's based on sales and spins, and we live in a world where music is not considered its own product. You have to have a brand and an image with it, and people are buying the Frozen brand. They're buying. Well, you got the Disney machine behind them, but just the music and their audience. They're selling the entire brand. They're selling the idea of Frozen. They're selling the movie, the little dresses. It's a whole lifestyle. So when you are a musician, it's a huge switch for us, right? Because you can't just play in a room, even if you are, freaking phenomenal. You have to go brand yourself, and then people have to identify with that.
But now Frozen, correct me, I haven't seen the movie.
Me either.
Me neither.
I don't have kids.
Okay.
I know
3 out of 4
friends
of
that
us have not
kids.
seen that movie, and it's getting a platinum record.
But there's a lot of songs in that movie, right? And there's one song
I think
that's
it's a
like
musical.
big deal in the whole film.
I wish it would just let
had
it
to
go.
sing it.
I wish it would let it go.
but
Let
d-
that song go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
It's called Let It Go. It needs to be let go.
It needs to be let go.
Yeah.
It needs to be let
Let
go.
it go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let it
Because
go,
unless you
bro.
have a voice like hers, you cannot sing that song.
But does any
And there's like
Everyone
5
tries.
fucking hundred versions
Everyone
of the
tries.
song. in
And
the
they're
movie,
all
right?
terrible. Oh my god.
Okay.
But does any of this
Hate that
have to
song.
do with free downloads?
Yes,
Absolutely, because it doesn't.
fuck yeah.
That's the thing. Music is not its own product now. The music is an advertisement for the brand you're trying to sell. So that's where.
So what does that do for example, let's take a band like Extreme. Let's say a young Nuno Betancourt and Gary Sharon and the rest of the band, and they are coming up today and they're brand new and nobody knows who the hell they are.
Yeah.
How do they break through?
Well,
How do they not to
YouTube.
just break through?
YouTube.
But how do they make
The Doors. I'm sorry. No, break on through. Yeah.
how do they make
I knew that was coming.
how do they make any money to sustain themselves?
But it's got to be a
and
lot
move
more
forward?
work nowadays than it was. I mean, when you were up and coming because of piracy, because back in the day, you'd be able to sell a record. Like, case in point, we now have no more platinum records.
Well, the thing is that it's not just
they're not
about
selling.
the record. Everybody went all digital, right? And they went to online and they were like, oh man, people are never going to go to events. They're just on their computers. There's a huge movement. You organize online and then look at music festivals, right? Woodstock was the Woodstock of its time. But now we have a Woodstock like every other weekend. And they're like not 1-day festivals. They're 3-day festivals. And some of them get sold out in 2 hours.
Well, people are going back out and touring. I mean,
Yeah.
think about it. You got
Well, because
bands.
you have to in order to make a living as a musician.
But they're also getting the money. The record companies traditionally took a big chunk of that sale from the records.
Here's
now
the-
you retain all that when you go out. You retain your marketing. You retain
Yes, but
all of your merch.
what you also retain is the cost of doing it, and
Oh, hell
having
yeah.
and having done that myself,
Tour.
you don't you don't make any money.
Yeah.
You end up in the hole.
You work
I mean,
at a coffee
I was
shop.
out. Yes was touring. And I've been friends with John for 20 years, and he's of course he's not with the band anymore, which is a drag. But these fucking guys that are 70 years old and they're touring, and why? Got to
Money.
make a check.
Yeah.
And you're going. It's sad, I mean, to me, if I'm that age, I want to be sitting back.
And the real bottom line cause is, because I worked in that industry for such a long time, is piracy. The same thing with movies.
were a
Unfortunately, yeah, I was a So I had I was a digital pirate for
Took
many
his patch
years.
off just for tonight.
Yeah, and then I worked for the. And then
His
I went
name
to-
is Patrick
like most-
Estrada.
Yeah, like most criminals, when you work for the bad guys, then you realize
It's
it's wrong.
pirates
You go work for the
in
good
the other
guys.
room.
Right.
And when I worked for the good guys, I saw the real piracy impact of what a big problem it really is. And when I was a kid growing up, I would go down to Tower Records and make my own mixed cassettes and mixed CDs because that's what you had to do.
I worked at Tower Records,
right? And I would
Literally.
R.I.P. Tower
I
Records.
personally would spend at least $50 to $300 a year personally on music for myself. So that was the money maker for the record record labels that would actually pay the bands. They wouldn't have to tour so much. But now that model's going to be completely dissolved because of piracy.
Well, not completely dissolved. You just have to think about it
It's been
differently.
obliterated.
No.
Actually,
Well,
it doesn't
I mean,
even exist.
okay,
Tower Records is
just-
gone.
Yeah.
I can't buy a CD
You
anymore.
got to go back on the
just
road.
music.
It's actually kind of there's okay. Let's put a positive spin on it.
Sure.
Right? We want to be positive.
No, negative. I want you to bash things right now.
No, start buying albums is what I'm saying.
Well,
Start-
Okay, it's not just
Well, that's it.
albums.
Fuck
But,
it.
and
buying
so you were
songs.
you were saying
It's back to people going out and playing because think about it. When we all grew up, I'm not gonna say ages and things like that.
or that we even grew up.
Yeah, but I mean, you go to shows, man. You know, it comes back to go play, go do some stuff, and that's where it started. Go to concerts, have an event, have some good shit
Right.
happen, have an experience, and it's kind of like pushing it back to that. Unfortunately for the older bands, because they're old,
Yeah.
they're having a hard time.
Capital
you know?
old, capital
Yeah.
older.
Yeah,
Yes.
hello, I'm 70 and I gotta fucking do 58 dates in 3 months. I'm not cool with that.
Or
you
Aerosmith.
Know? With Geritol. But I mean, it really kind of like it's making it back to that's what it was about, you know. And people came together because of music. That's,
Right.
That's why those records were so important. That's why that music was so important. Like,
Yeah.
you go back to the late 60s, early 70s, and all that. Why was that music so popular? I think it's because people moved. People were going. They were excited, and you went to a show. And
It
was an
became a
event.
communal experience. It wasn't just you went to a show. You went to a show and you shared it with all those people in the room. And sometimes they were your friends or your family, or you ended up creating friends and family because you shared this experience of seeing this band that you all loved.
Yeah.
Think about it. You used to buy a record, a fucking
A
record.
record, yeah.
Right? And you opened it up. When you got a record, man, it was like a deal. you
Yeah.
know? And you look at
Liner notes were
you
like
spent
a
time.
liner notes,
Here's the thing.
Lyrics.
artwork. Nowadays, it's a fucking download MP3 into your fucking headset while you fucking jog down the street. Bullshit.
If it's just music like that, I think you guys are thinking of that too. And then I've seen both sides. I worked at Universal Music Group, and I got there, and they're like, they would have these meetings, creative meetings for projects, and I'd be like, records are it. Go back to records, because my parents raised me in a time warp in Alaska. We listened to records. I thought the Beach Boys were still playing in like 1994. I had no idea that they were not 16-year-old
That's funny.
hottie surfers. They screwed
That's
me.
hilarious.
Anyway, I love records because you have the liner notes, because you have the photography. And think about the record industry. They went from that to the CD, or to the cassette tape, and to the CD, and all these other things in between. But people still love to have something in their hands. So when I'm talking about like selling a product, it doesn't have to be just like a download of the music. Give somebody something they like to hold. And the shit that's selling that has music attached to it, you can make it into jewelry. You can put anything on a USB, and then you have the liner notes, you have video on it. And like you said, you have to get out, go to these shows. I mean, you got all these huge music events. They make bank, and people are getting out and they're getting excited. And you don't have to always tour. I mean, look, you made money sitting in a room. Placement for advertisement, television, music, that's where the money is.
The biggest problem with that kind of model is that when you want to give digital content is the issue, is that once you create that one digital key and it goes out there, it's going to be shared. You know, they're gonna take that all those extras and they're gonna put it out there.
I think the difference becomes, and this is a horse that has probably already left the gate, but is
Or a cow that ran out of the barn.
that too, and any other
or the meatball that rolled off the plate.
That one too.
Jesus, the
Sorry.
spaghetti-o that already has too much sauce. Whatever you want to say. What the fuck?
One of these things is not like the other.
But I think the idea being that somehow the public has lost a feeling of what is the value of the music, what is the value of the art,
Of just
and going, and you know what? I love this band, or I love music, and understanding, you know what? I need to spend a little bit of money for this, because then this band and this artist that I love can then continue to create.
It's a bit of social responsibility, basically. It's stopping taking it for free.
We go to fucking our favorite coffee spot, fucking Starbucks, Pete's, where the fuck ever, and we spend $2 a day minimum to get a cup of coffee.
Minimum.
And yet,
That's
exactly.
minimum. That's low end. How you get in?
Yeah. Well, because I just drink.
Just give me the grounds, and I'll put the water in myself.
No, that's my whole thing. Look, give me the filter. I'm going to snort that shit.
I'll just suck the filter.
No, but here it is. So we spend a couple of bucks or $5 on a fucking cup of coffee, and yet we bitch and complain, which lasts what? That cup of coffee lasts you what?
30 minutes.
An hour tops?
Right. Okay, but alternatively,
Well, I'm not done yet.
Okay,
you
sorry.
and your alternatively. I'll be with you in a moment, kitty cat.
Water bottle.
But conservative, but then on the other hand, we then complain that we might have to spend $10 to have a piece of music that will last us as long as we ever want to listen to it over and over and over again. And then we complain.
Yep.
Shut the fuck up, you
Right the fuck
assholes.
up. Yeah.
Assholes.
Okay.
And let me
Ditto to
and let me
that.
and let me just say this one last thing. Do it because it's what you're supposed to fucking do.
Yes.
It's against the law to download a song unless you pay for it. You
Unless
don't ever get anything for free unless you pay for it. So if you're downloading songs for free, or movies, or video games, or anything that you haven't
We're talking
physically
about sex
paid
now.
for, even your porn that you're legal down, you are pirating and you're breaking the law and you're not doing the right thing. Do the right thing. and
If
help
you
support
want to
people.
learn how to fist successfully, pay for it. That's
damn it.
Oh,
take
I'm
a
sorry.
lesson.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's probably
Okay,
fisting videos. Let's put some of that.
What do you mean, probably?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
directed them. Anyway, sorry.
Hey-oh, gotta pay the bill somehow.
I didn't.
No pun intended.
All right.
Ah, this hurts. Anyway,
Okay, alternatively,
Carpal tunnel.
Yes.
I do want to just say I completely agree. I am a musician. I see where that's coming from. However, I've been to almost every major music festival in the United States and some in Canada. Seriously, that's what I did with my life when I was working at the labels. I would save up my money and I would go to this stuff, or I would go to every single show I could go to for 3 years. I didn't sleep. However, you look at people getting their music for free, or downloading it, or pirating it, or just watching the YouTube and making a playlist, or listening to Spotify or these other subscription services, which is another tiny way to make kind of a buck. But
about $1.
right, but all those $10, instead of buying those $10 records, you get it for free, right? The downloads, it's flat music. It doesn't matter. We do not have a speaker system that technologically shows you, makes you feel like the sound wave when you're in a fucking room. So people are going and they're saving up $500 and buying these tickets to these music festivals, and they're going out and doing it.
Not me.
And that money is coming back to artists. So yes, it's like going out and touring, but like you said, that's where it started. And the live experience cannot be replicated, and they're building those memories, and you build brands. Also, people are buying merch at like unbelievable rates. Like they'll buy more merch now than ever existed, and now we can put anything. We can, you can slap your download code onto the back of a T-shirt and make $20 on the T-shirt.
I think we have a very unique set of bowling. Basically, it's a very unique situation right now in our economy. One, everyone's
are in
broke.
flux, without a
Everyone's
doubt.
broke as shit.
Yeah, our
You
generation.
know, people are trying to make money that deserve to make money. People want to buy a product, but they can't afford a product. You know, so it's like there has to be a medium of meeting of ways where, like Caitlin was saying, $300 to $400 a ticket. I haven't gone to a show since 2005 because the tickets are so damn expensive.
Well, I
Yeah.
never paid. I haven't paid for a show. In
Oh, of course not,
25
because you know
years,
you know
Yeah.
that you know everybody.
It's cool, whatever.
Hey, can you let me in the back way? Yeah, cool. Come on.
Thanks, man.
Just
Rub it
turn my
in.
guitar,
That's
you'll be
great.
cool.
Yeah.
Here's a key thing. I think with the buying people out there that listen to music, they automatically assume that fuck this person, they're already rich. Why am I
Right.
going to
Not
pay
true.
to listen? They think music is free.
Yeah.
And yes, technically music is free, but they just automatically think, oh, this guy's a fucking multi-bazillionaire.
You know what?
And they don't want to pay. And yet, but they don't realize a lot of these guys are fucking struggling motherfuckers. You know?
Completely.
Well,
No,
also-
no, I totally agree with you. There is a disconnect. Everybody automatically assumes, oh, you're in a band and you've got a video that's out, blah, blah, you must be
must own
rolling in it.
Mansions and Ferraris.
They rent
Yeah.
that stuff, by the way,
And
guys.
it's
Yeah.
like, and
Meanwhile,
it's
you're on
like,
Kickstarter
no.
trying to make like $12 to do your next
Exactly.
album.
Some of these dudes are still living in their parents' garage.
They rent their bling, they rent their cars, they rent
So
their girls.
speaking of, we actually have to wrap this up. Number one, I want to say thank you. Number one, thanks all of you guys for this very spirited conversation.
Yeah.
And something I would love to pick up down the road. But thank all of you out there for listening to this show, The Brian Crow Show. I am your host, Brian Crow. For those of you with dyslexia, that is Crying Bro. And quick plug for your Kickstarter.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Please go to Kickstarter.
Donate,
Look up
give some money. Come on.
The pipeline.
Pipeline
For the
film.
pipeline film.
Yes,
Pipeline.
thank you. It's over on Saturday morning. If I don't
Do it
make
now.
my goal, I don't get any of the money. And
She's
you guys,
gonna kill herself if you don't.
Go now.
and there's gonna be
So-
gorgeous music also
Do it now.
in this fucking phenomenal music.
So get out
done.
there and donate, and let's make this happen. And we're going to be back in a few months with some more silliness and frivolity. And hopefully by then I still be able to pronounce frivolity, and by then I'll actually look it up and know what it means.
Boom.
Actually, I do. I'm just fucking with you. But hey, go out there. Hey, drive dangerously and take risks. I'm Brian Crow. Thank you so much. Good night.
You're listening to KXSR, Excite Radio Los Angeles.
Listen to the future.